Hi, everybody. Bro Plata here on a Tuesday. Tim Danko, Ray Hyclack. We are talking UFC Vegas 18, recapping what went down. And then also we have some other things to talk about in the world of combat sports. But the pretty man next to me right here. Hey, I learned mirroring. It's Tim Danko, everybody. Yay! How are you, buddy?
Pretty good, Ray. I have some stuff to talk about. I have a new segment I'm going to make up right now called Tim's Hero of the Week.
Okay.
All right. We're going to talk about that. Did you get a banner? We need a banner for it. Make it right now.
I'm already on the Canva app. We're getting this ready.
All right, good. We'll talk about that. Also, while you're doing that, let's talk about the Super Bowl because that happened.
Yeah.
Super Bowl 55 happened. Tom Brady was Tom Brady again. And, I mean, he's getting a lot of praise, as he should, because he is the man. He's been the man for a long time, and it's a little, for whatever reason, this one didn't suck like the other ones. For a while when he was winning then with New England, it was just kind of annoying, but this one wasn't annoying at all. He went to a team that wasn't very good, and they had a big turnaround, not just with him and Antonio Brown and Rob Gronkowski, but the defense. And you're talking about Tom Brady the whole game, and they should, but their defense was fantastic. They put so much pressure on Mahomes, and it looked Mahomes, made Patrick Mahomes look like he's never played football before, and that's one of the reasons. I mean, they didn't play well. Kansas City played terrible because of one of the reasons because of Tampa Bay's defense, and Tampa Bay played well. Tampa Bay was a wild card team too, man. Like, so good for them, man. It's not like they dominated all year. They were very good. I think they had the same rounds, 11 wins, I think. But and they had great playoffs. They had close games in the playoffs. Close games against New Orleans and Green Bay, and then they blew the Chiefs out though. And it was huge. It was great. Good for them. Woo, yeah, super excited. I got kind of bored of it second half because it wasn't very close, which happens, whatever. But good for Tampa Bay, good for them, man. I mean, yeah, I mean, last year, like I said, they've been pretty crappy for a while, Tampa Bay. So I'm just wondering where the hell is going to be the Browns' turn, Ray? Next year, Ray.
Yeah, man. Like the Kansas City Chiefs must have. It was like Francis Ngannou in the third round and a 5-round fight. I mean, you want to talk about like blowing your load against a team like the Cleveland Browns, and then the defense though of Tampa Bay was lights out. I watched the game. I don't really watch football, but I'll watch like the Super Bowl just because it's like thing to do. But like I was amazed at the just turnaround in the negative that they had, especially after like the second quarter. They just collapsed. I've never seen a team go into a second quarter and then come out worse like the Kansas City Chiefs did. They couldn't get the passing game. There was one pass off of one of the wide receivers face mask in the end zone.
Yeah, they were dropping McDropperson all day.
Oh my God,
and that's not their thing, man. They usually have very sure-handed receivers. Kelsey's about the only one who did decent, but he couldn't do everything. And
I mean, they were all over Kelsey. Man, they were double teaming him all night, and that was how they shut them down a lot of the time.
Right?
He was such a good tight end for them. I mean, even against the Browns, he was lights out, and the fact that happened, the injuries that KC had as well. I think they had a few guys out for this game, and just Patrick Mahomes, like you said, didn't play well at all.
They were able to double team Kelsey because of the fact their defensive line played great and got pressure on Mahomes, and their defensive backs played well one-on-one against the receivers. So, and not everybody's usually done that. Usually if you double team Kelsey, they have other guys like Hill or just going to burn you, but they didn't really do that either. And up front, they did fantastic to get the Mahomes. So they played man. They played great.
They played Tyreek Hill very well as well. Cause he was, for some reason, Andy Reid decided this season from like the games I've seen of Kansas City to use a lot of arena football plays. Like there's always a guy in motion to confuse everybody. And then that guy just, man. But it's not that often used in the NFL. Like motion isn't used that as much as Andy Reid.
It's used a lot, man. Especially now these new young passing coaches like Sean McVay and those guys. Yeah, dude, they use it. It's used a lot. It's used a lot. I promise.
I saw Byron Leftwich was on.
He's the OC.
Who was it? Byron Leftwich.
Hey, he's the OC of
I used
Tampa
to
Bay.
play with him in Madden.
Huh.
Yeah,
Byron Leftwich is
it's
like
hilarious.
10 years younger than Tom Brady, I think. All right, not that much, but he's a good bit younger. Yeah, I remember Byron Leftwich from Marshall. Played
Yep.
for the Steelers. Some other people. Who else did he
Yes.
play for? Jacksonville, maybe? I can't remember.
I
Anyway,
think
he's
it
a good
was,
OC. He'll probably be a head coach eventually.
and like I think that's speaking of head coach. I think honestly, like I think that's going to be Tom Brady's next forte is coaching because he can motivate a team, man. But he's one of those guys. And I know there's always those guys who are better players than coaches. That's obvious. But like, I honestly think that guy could be an NFL coach.
Well, he'll get a job if he wants one, but I don't think he will. I could see him if either. It's usually they're gonna if a guy, a quarterback or any NFL player is gonna take a job in football right away. It's got either coaching or broadcasting. I think it'd be broadcasting before coaching for Tom Brady, my guess. But something tells me he's not gonna really want to do either. He's just gonna chill.
Personality of soap. Why
I
would
know.
they have him?
Because he's Tom Brady.
No, even there should be no speaking of Tom Brady in a broadcasting booth at all. The guy, he's like Habib. There's just nothing there that makes me want to pay attention to him outside the fact he throws one.
Belichick's the same way. They put him on TV at a heartbeat. So
yeah, and you can hear TV sets and phones clicking off. That's
matter. They do it anyway. Honestly, I don't think he'll do anything. I think he'll just go home, chill out, and mouth kiss his kids for a while. If he ever quits, man, like he's 43 and he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like he will be some team's best option until he's 50, probably, and he'll probably keep playing until he's not anymore.
Couldn't you see that? There was a meme I saw of Tom Brady with a beard. Like long gray Dave Letterman beard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, you kids want to go to the Super Bowl? And he's just like old Tom Brady. I would love to see him be the geriatric wonder in the NFL. I think he could. I don't like Tom Brady. I'm not a fan. Being a Steelers fan, especially, we get hosed every time we play him. No matter what team he's on. I used to have a joke about Tom Brady that I don't do on stage because it's just it's more of like a bar joke. It's Tom Brady. Anytime you look at Tom Brady, it's an automatic first down. When you look at Giselle Bundchen, you forfeit the game.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like you bitching that he's better than the guys you have on your teams.
That's what that is. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a joke. That's just you bitching. That's what that is. You crying that he's better than your guys, and that's what that is. It's just what's happening. And the thing is, you know who does that? Ray Highclack. That's just in your playbook. That's something you do all the time.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna unlike Habib, I'm not gonna downplay how great of a quarterback he is. I just don't like the guy. It's just one of those things.
I like him more this year than any other year.
Oh, me too. I was kind of hoping they would do that because I hate Bill Belichick more. Like, I despise that hoodie. I hope one day it catches on fire. I really do. Just like next to a heat lamp, and it just goes off.
Speaking of former Browns coaches, we just lost one, man. Marty Ball died. Marty Schottenheimer died. It's a bummer, but we kind of knew it was going to happen. He was moved to hospice recently. I knew that. And then he's had dementia for a long time. He had Alzheimer's for a long time. Ooh. Yeah, I remember Real Sports did an interview with him a while back, and you could tell. I mean, he wasn't all there, which is unfortunate. It's been like that for a while for him. It's unfortunate, but man, when he was coaching, he was the man, and he was a great coach for the Browns. I mean, the last time the Browns were really, really good, it was Marty Ball. So, and then Belichick, but yeah, those guys.
You are growing up. You heard about Marty Schottenheimer from like your parents, and my dad was a season ticket holder for the Browns for a long time until they moved. Pretty much until we moved down to Texas. We had season tickets, and then we switched over to the dark side, like I'm wearing right now. Yay, Pittsburgh! Yay, Pirates!
Tom Brady's won more Super Bowls than your entire team.
You know what happened that I'm so glad happened? You cut out. Ha. No, I'm kidding. I heard you. But it's one of those things where I don't know. The guy like Marty Schottenheimer, a dude who had one of the best teams in Browns history. It's up there with, I would say, this year's team for the Browns is probably one of the greatest of all time. just because of how well they played.
Yeah, I mean, geez, those years when it was 87, 88 when they lost the drive and the fumble. I think they say that's probably the two. I mean, the Super Bowl era. Obviously, the Browns in the '60s, the championship teams they had in the '60s were their best teams. But yeah, those teams in the late '80s, they had. I mean, everyone said. I mean, I think they had the number 1 seed in the AFC, and they lost those games at home, I believe.
Yeah, they lost both games at home. I think my dad was at one of them. I can't remember. But no, yeah, it's we keep losing people, sir. Like I recently there was a wrestler that passed away. Hacksaw Butch Reed was a former NFL player, young guy. When he started in pro wrestling, and then carved out a very good and successful career for himself, where he won territory championships and stuff like that. I think he was 66. So I do the same for football, sir.
What? Hey, if anyone hasn't seen our show with Dr. Jerry Graham Jr., see it. It's really cool. It's a lot of really cool wrestling stories. I just sat here most of the time, but as I said before, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
However, Ray went real hard inside real fast. I was hoping he'd go a little less inside than he did, but he went like, dude, you remember this guy? He wrestled once in 1937? Like that. He went real hard, real fast inside stuff.
I love that stuff, though, because
I understood I'd say about 60% of what was happening. So that's good. Still watch it. I don't know, you talked about Mean Gene Okerlund. I know him. I don't Mean Gene.
Yeah.
You know? He talked about Andre the Giant. Know him.
Yeah.
The Sheik, the original Sheik. I'm aware there's 2 Sheiks.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Wrong.
Yeah,
right.
There was 2.
To say, all right,
one's dead, the other one's alive.
And I actually knew that Dr. Jerry Graham trained Scott Steiner. I knew that.
I did not.
I see.
So you had something over me, sir.
I did. One of our friends told me that recently, and I didn't know that. Actually, I didn't know who it was until I looked him up either. So, but
have you ever seen the Steiner math video?
I'm going to say yes, so you don't send it to me. I don't really want to watch it.
Oh, no, it's a hilarious promo that you need to see where it's like Scott Steiner was ahead of his time, because I think in 2004, he invented Common Core math. Like, he did this weird percentages and like all kinds of crazy, like, you're not going to beat me because you have 5% chance of doing it. And you're like, what? Okay, I'm confused. And he went over 100%. He really did.
When I Googled Scott Steiner, I realized that he's like the gym dad in every gym you ever see. Like, there's always a guy who thinks he's Scott Steiner at every gym.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, this is gym dad for sure. And I know who that guy is at the gyms around here. I know who that guy is. Not who it is, but I know who he is.
For Rick and Morty fans out there, Scott Steiner at one point, I think he still owns a Shoney's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, does he own the one in Dover? There's one in Dover, Ohio.
Is there?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to 77.
It was right next to a place where you didn't do a show there. Harrison did a show there with me at that hotel that they now shut down the bar, but there is right next to that Shoney's.
Interesting.
And it was pretty close to where you did a show too, just down the road.
At the one bar?
Factory Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just down the road from there, but it's next to another place where we did a show. But
okay.
A few shows.
But
anyway.
No, yeah, Shoney's. Yay, Shoney's. I want to eat at a Shoney's. I think that would be fun. And then,
like I said, there's one in Dover, but I haven't been there in a very long time. I couldn't tell you.
Make Rick and Morty references the entire time.
I'm sure you're not the only millennial that does that.
Oh no, I guarantee you, I'm on the long list of that if I was to do it. But yeah, man, let's talk about some stuff. Paige Van Zandt lost in her bare knuckle debut this past weekend. I believe it was a decision. I did not watch the fight, but I did see her scarring. Luckily, it was minimal. From the looks of it, it was I saw mixed reviews online too, where it was boring. Some people were like, I saw one troll of a motherfucker, how hard people can go on the internet, It was like, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm like, what
Yeah,
the fuck, man? It's bare knuckle fighting. You don't want to
right.
look like mincemeat. I don't want to look like hamburger after it's over. That's
No,
not
it looked like
cool.
they were. I mean, I saw
And
some
then
highlight videos. I saw highlight videos and some like bootleg clips and whatnot. And I mean, they were fighting. Not like they weren't fighting. They were fighting. Just I don't know. Did you expect either of them to knock the other one out? I don't know. Britain Hart fought really good. She definitely had. She had more big shots on Paige. Paige looked a little. Almost the word I'm looking for.
hesitant.
Yeah, that's not bad. Kinda.
Okay.
A little
That means
bit.
she's got
Yeah.
a modeling career still to take care of. She wants
Yeah,
to
but
keep that
to
badass
be fair,
image.
she always kind of looks like that a little bit in her fights. Doesn't necessarily mean she is. But I think you could. I mean, she threw a knee at one point,
Oh God.
just out of instinct. It was kind of funny, and didn't really land, but she definitely threw a knee. And I don't know, man. Her best part of her game was I don't know, really her kickboxing, not necessarily her just straight up boxing. And I understand they probably broke the bank for her. I mean, they had to have because this is the first time they had a really big money pay per view as far as a $40 pay per view or whatever.
Yeah.
I think usually you buy the app, you get it for like $5 or something. But this time it was a $40 pay per view, and I don't know. The way she's talking, she may not fight again. I don't know, but also it's pretty early. But
It's right after a loss too.
yeah,
I
and
mean,
also good. Yeah, of course, but good for Britain Hart. You know, she was definitely. I don't know if she was the betting favorite or not, but she was definitely the crowd underdog, right? These pages that he was following.
I can
And
imagine.
that's a tough fight to take, right?
Yeah.
But she did well and she won. I think she won 3 rounds to 1, I believe. So, or 4-1.
It was definitely a cool. It's definitely cool the fact that like there is that avenue. We've obviously talked, and I'm gonna start campaigning on the Facebook of Bare Knuckle to get our boy John Gunther on there because I want to see me some John Gunther in the bare knuckle ring because that is a dope ring, by the way.
I
think
do like the ring. The ring is really cool.
the ring is awesome. It's better than that stupid bare knuckle fight or bare knuckle boxing direct TV shit that just basically was like a Yama pit. It was just a circle in like a TV set, and they would box like very tight. The the ring itself for bare knuckle looks cool. And also unlike bare knuckle boxing, and I found this, and I showed you this earlier, but this thing used to be what bare knuckle boxing started as. They're smaller gloves, so they wrap around the hands a little bit, but like it's almost like amateur MMA gloves in a way, where they've got the padding on top of it, you know, and then the knuckles are exposed on there,
Barely.
and it's that's about it. And there was some good knockouts in bare knuckle boxing, but it sucked. Fucking
yeah, those gloves are ridiculous. I'm glad they got rid of them. Because what it looks like somebody wearing assless chaps and saying they're naked. That's what it is. Because all it is a little strip, right, gone from the glove. Oh, your knuckles aren't there. Yeah, it's like I said, assless chaps and saying you're naked. That's basically what it is. It's silly. They're silly. What they do now, they just do like very light hand wraps, and yeah. I'm sure the people that really go at it, I'm sure their hands hurt just as much as everything else after those fights.
Oh, hell yeah.
Did you see Chris Liebman's knockout? And he flattened a dude.
Yeah, good. I didn't see Chris Lieben. I'll check that out because
he won by knockout.
His last fight,
then,
I believe. Yeah.
He said he's done now. So
that's
good because he probably made some decent money in BKFC because they are backing up Brinks trucks for people.
Oh, he was the star for a while.
Yeah, well, one thing that's really interesting just watching BKFC is it's a style because a lot of times we're getting people who are MMA fighters and you realize that their style of boxing is not normal boxing. And I don't know how many guys and ladies that fight for them are just straight boxers because I don't know how well that style would really hold up with the fact you don't have any gloves on. You can't throw the volume punches the way you did in boxing.
Yeah, it's gonna be. This is because of the fact that I think this is still a relatively a reimagining of a relatively old sport that the style has kind of gone away from. Because if you look at old school bare knuckle boxing like photos and even like some of the fights, they do that like put up your dukes. And for some reason, I think if you do that and you can pop off a little bit easier or make sure you're not like something must be with that when it comes like blocking or something where that style was good and guys could have a year bare knuckle and they'd look like fucking hamburger after like 117 rounds. Obviously, that's not what they're doing now, but I think the style will evolve as we go along, and you'll see guys start to develop a style of bare knuckle boxing where you get less injuries, but high end knockouts out of it.
Every single person that fights for KFC had to adapt to that, to bare knuckle boxing. There wasn't any of them who grew up wanting to be a bare knuckle boxer, right? And I still don't know if there's going to be kids doing that anytime soon. I mean, maybe if the sports gets a bit bigger, maybe eventually there will be. But everyone coming to it now is people that are getting, like I said, the KFC is throwing money at them, and they're like, "Hey, you want to try this?" And it'll be like, I mean, not necessarily, but for what you're paying me, okay. Like,
it's Bellator in the teens.
Well, kind of, but at least that was still, the sport they were doing before. I mean, if Paige Van Zant, they were offering her the same amount of money she was getting from in an offer from Bellator or PFL or anything to fight BKFC, she probably wouldn't have done it. So, but yeah, maybe eventually if it keeps getting bigger, I don't know. It's okay. I'm not super sold on it yet.
I think it'll take at least another generation for people really to either get on that bandwagon of bare knuckle, or it goes away like it did back in the 20s when they started really doing only gloved fighting. And
like when kickboxing was a thing, or like kickboxing was big for like a year and a half.
Yeah. Oh no, it was bigger than that for a little while. I mean, the K1 Grand Prix were getting worldwide coverage on pay-per-view. I mean, that was a thing that like guys would stay up like I would for a Japanese pro wrestling show pay-per-view if it's like the January 4th card in Tokyo, but it used to get big numbers and have big money behind it. I mean, I think and this is 2000, I think the purse was like $50,000 to $100,000. If I believe that was used to be how much they would get, and that's in yen. That's a lot, but you're like, let's fight twice in a month and see what happens.
That's probably another sporting event for people like you that will watch Japanese pro wrestling on pay-per-view at like 3 a.m. or whatever.
I do.
For whatever reason, watch arena football instead of NFL because you're just weird.
I do. I like cricket.
Cricket's okay. Cricket's a giant sport, just not in this country.
What's another thing? I watch curling every once in a while.
Curling's addictive, man. You think curling's still silly? You start watching it, and you're like, "Why? I can't stop watching this. I don't understand why." It's weird.
Yeah, man. Like,
I think it's because you think you can do it. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. I mean,
although the answer is you can't. I mean, not well, at least, right? I mean, you can do it about as well as you play darts compared to world dart champions, but.
And that's intense to watch. It's fucking darts. I don't know why.
Because it's huge. They play in stadiums, packed stadiums.
And they have flags of all countries and shit. It's like Eurovision, but with drunks. It's an interesting. It's an interesting sport. I mean, if you want to call it that.
Anytime there's like a guy in his 60s with a beer gut and he's world champion, I'm like, I'll watch this. It seems like it's my speed.
You watch bocce ball?
No, there is a bocce pit. And there used to be one in the park here. And I don't think I ever saw anyone under the age of 60 in the bocce pit.
There's, for some reason up here, there's actually a place that is where Revolution is. Revolution Fight and Fitness at the NEO Sports Plant. They have bocce ball courts for people to rent at the bar.
Cool.
Yeah, right. It's a big Italian population in the area, so it's like Italian, Irish, and African American people. So it's you kind of get that bocce. People go play bocce and have some good times. It's fun, man.
I guess bocce. Everybody has their bar game, man. Dude, axe throwing bars is the thing.
They have that too.
I don't need to do that, man. That seems dangerous. I don't need to throw axes.
It was kind of funny for a while. They were doing axe throwing at this place or at the bar that NEO had. And it was awesome to like be in a class at Revolution and you just see like millennial like white women just throwing axes at a thing, and you're like in side control, and you're laughing your dick off because you're just like, oh, they're having a like weird fun by throwing those axes. I don't get it. I don't get axe throwing really. The stunts are cool. If you've ever seen like the stunts and stuff, those are fun.
Nope, not my thing, man. I don't really like axes stick all together, man. I see an axe, I think, manual labor, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
I like. My dad had me cutting wood as a young lad, so I like that kind of stuff.
Well, I did too, but not that I liked it, hated it.
I liked it. I like getting. That's why I like my job that I have now, man. Like my job now is fun when it comes to like, and plus the schedule is awesome for like doing stand up and stuff.
That's good. You're on days. That's good.
Yeah.
When I was in Columbus seeing my buddy, he's like, "Hey man, you want to go chop wood?" He's like, "I have a fireplace. Want to chop wood?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, do you have matching flannels for us? We have matching flannels. We'll do it.
Yeah.
All right,
but trying to rip one open like Captain America in Civil War.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or Age of Ultron.
Yeah, it'll just be me wearing one of his flannels, and I can just. There. All right, man. You want to hear my hero of the week?
Who's your hero of the week?
Do you have a banner?
I can. Let's make it.
You said you're gonna make it.
I thought you meant like an actual thing I can like pop up on the screen.
We'll do that for next time. We'll have a theme song.
Hero of the week. Hero of the week.
Actually, this hero of the week has a runner up, man. I'll give you the runner up because I don't know if it's true. I've been seeing this meme all day about the guy who streaked at the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
They say that he put $50,000 at a prop bet that there was going to be a streaker, and then won his bet by streaking at the Super Bowl.
I saw. I don't know
if that's real or not, but it's amazing if it is.
Okay, and now who is your official hero of the week?
Jose Canseco.
I saw that. I saw.
All right, Barstool Sports has that Tough Man contest, Rough and Rowdy, and they were doing a pay-per-view, and they decided, let's get Jose Canseco. People will watch that. And apparently what the deal is Jose was going to get 50 to fight this guy. I don't even know who he fought. And 50 more grand if he won. And then if they got so much pay-per-views, he got a cut of the pay-per-views. And they crushed their pay-per-view record. And they got a lot of pay-per-views. He went in there. Jose got hit once, fell over, didn't get back up, made $1 million. Hero of the week, Jose Canseco. So he beat the system. And Dave Portnoy, who's the El Presidente of Barstool Sports, is saying he took a dive and stuff. I'm like, he probably did, man.
He probably did.
He beat the system.
He is like, to me, Jose Canseco is one of my favorite people just because of like, one, he's the snitch or the golden snitch of Major League Baseball when he put out that book.
Yeah, and baseball has really given him shit for it. I mean, I think one of the reasons they said they gave him that fight is they kind of feel bad that like baseball turned his back on him, and they didn't turn it back on like Mark McGwire, who's a hitting coach right now. I don't think for the Padres.
Yeah, I have an opinion on that that you can see on my YouTube channel. Just search Ray Hyclack for that. I did a thing about the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire 30 for 30 that came out, and fuck Mark McGwire. I hate him so much.
Anyway, Portnoy says he doesn't feel bad for Canseco anymore after he took his money. So, this has been the year beating the system, right? It was the Wall Street people thing, right? And this guy, Canseco, and if it's true, the streaker, man, people beating the system.
Yeah, when I saw that streaker thing, like what I was disappointed in is he didn't go full. He only went to like Borat bathing suit. And I just, if you're going to streak, go full 1970s with it. Like, just strip everything.
Now, hold on. The thing is, if he's doing it just to win the bet, then he should just do that so he doesn't also get charged with full nudity.
No,
right?
No. Streaking
he's doing this for financial reasons, all right? No, he's not trying to do it for the good of streaking, all right? For the, put your heart in it for the love of streak, for the purest streakers. No, he's doing it for the cashola, and he did it, man. And his buddy was in on it, too, because his buddy went out first. And then when they got him, he took off. I don't know. The meme said he only took like $1,000 for him to get out of jail. I'm sure there'd be a court date. I don't know, but they said he went over $300,000.
I think there is going to be a court date with that as well.
Right, and maybe I don't know. I don't know if they could the sports book can sue and try to not pay him. I don't know.
I mean,
either way, I hope he gets his money if it happened. If that's true, because I want him to beat the system.
That was hilarious. I didn't even know. Like, I don't think the NFL did they mention it during the Super Bowl?
No, they don't.
Nah, boo, boo.
Because they don't want people to do it. So they say, all right, if we don't put them on camera and we don't mention it's happening, and
yeah, I always like the attention seeker. Obviously being a stand-up comic, and just third child really in life. It's one of those things where you kind of you root for those people, but dude, go full nude. I want to hear the fact that like you got fucking turf burn on certain areas. I want to know that. I want to see the photos online blurred out, obviously.
This guy didn't do it for the glory, man. He did it for the cash.
But that is not the good pursuit, man. Like,
that's why he's my runner-up.
Doesn't do it for the money. The good streaker does it because he's a psychopath and wants everybody to see his dick in the fucking Super Bowl.
This is why he's my runner-up of Hero of the Week. I also thought about calling this instead of being my Hero of the Week, I could have called Jose Canseco my Ray Hyclak of the Week. That sounds like something you would do.
No, I would try and fight. I mean, you're getting $1 million to fight. I mean, you don't want to look like a pussy.
Didn't he do that shit in Pride? No, or was his brother that fought in Pride?
Yeah.
Instead, it was him. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Jose Canseco to me is like. Plus, if you ever saw him on Celebrity Rehab, with Dr. Drew. One of the true failures, and I'm so glad he failed because he's a scumbag. Like, he's one of those guys that, like, Judge Judy used to say, don't, piss on my leg and tell me it's raining kind of dude. He's a shifty motherfucker, and he'll always be that way. I honestly think, and I want to get your opinion on this, who deserves less shit from Pete Rose or Jose Canseco?
Who deserves less shit?
Yeah.
Pete Rose.
Okay. I was gonna smack you if you said Jose.
Especially at this point, man. Just let the dude in the Hall of Fame. It's kind of, the thing is, it's sad. They're probably gonna wait till he dies. And
yeah,
and it's dumb. That's just dumb, dude. Put him in, man. Dude, he's one of the best hitters, arguably the best hitter in history of baseball. Yeah. Dude, just let the dude. And dude, he had that many hits without the shift, man. Like, you're mad. And the thing is, if anyone could have beat the shift all the time, it would have been Pete Rose, man. Mm-hmm. He would have just hit dribblers down the third baseline all day.
Yeah, he was one of those really, like, watching the videos of him back in the 70s, and you look at him, and he's just not human for a dude who, and especially, like, my favorite thing, you might not like this, but it's the hit in the All-Star game. Like, he took out the Indians catcher at home plate and just beat the living shit out of him with a fucking shoulder.
Yeah, especially then when the All-Star game counted for nothing.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I mean, hey, he
it's kind of funny to look back on now, but it's funny to look back now. But now that they've completely outlawed knocking over the catcher like that, anytime you see any old videos of that, just like when you see any old videos, NFL videos of head-to-head contact, now you see it and you're like, ugh. I don't even like to see it anymore. Like, maybe the first time I ever saw the video, it was neat, but now it's like, no, I don't want to see that shit again. Like, I was watching that Al Davis documentary on ESPN, and
I need to watch that.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't finished it. I think I have like 15 minutes left on it. They do a weird thing where they
yeah, man.
No, it doesn't matter. What?
Oh no, it does.
What? Oh, I said in that Al Michaels documentary, they do a thing where they put with the power of computers, put Al Michaels' face on an actor and Pete Rozelle's face on an actor to do a narration for it. I don't like that. I think it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
it's one of those, like, you shouldn't think if you can. It's like if you should. I'm like, I don't think you should put words in any. I mean, I know it's probably things they may have said in books or something. I don't know, but I mean, they both passed, so I don't think you should have them, someone looking like them saying things that didn't say in a documentary. Now, if you're doing a drama, it's different, but it's even then, I don't think you should put the face
words
on
in
that. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah.
It looks good, but I think it's kind of weird.
It is. I don't like it myself because I mean it's kind of frightening. I always thought to myself how dangerous the Running Man. And Tim, are you there?
Yeah, are you there? You broke up.
Yeah.
I just heard Running Man.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's funny how the Running Man has sort of like picked a lot of stuff from like deadly reality shows where like Survivor and all that kind of stuff. And then like the one scene where they say that Arnold Schwarzenegger died, but they really just superimposed his face over some guy's body. Creeps me out, man. Not gonna lie. Gives me the willies. Don't like it.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's enough deep fakes on the internet, Ray. You don't have to put it in our documentaries now, too.
Yeah, no. I want to see the real goddamn thing. I don't want to I don't want them to reenact JFK in the war room at the Cuban Missile Crisis and then have him all of a sudden be like, "Oh, Marilyn, get on your knees." Like I don't want that shit. Like
you don't want deep fake porn?
No, I don't want. No, that's weird. I like my presidents the way they deserve to be, forgotten over time and sometimes dead.
Well, no one ever said you had to, just use presidents, man. You can do anybody.
No, that's what I'm saying. But still, ew, like deep faking. Right. I feel like deep faking porn is like plagiarism. Like, don't superimpose. Like
the thing is, man, the hard deep fakes are going to be a real thing. I mean, it's going to be so bad that you honestly won't be able to tell what's real and what's not. It's going to be a huge thing.
Yeah, it's going to be creepy.
And also because of that, there can be a legitimate video of you doing or saying something that someone caught, and you can say, no, that's fake, and could be very legitimate. Which, I mean, we don't see that happen at all.
No. Not at all.
Dude, I will say that, like, I haven't paid too much attention to politics for, like, a whole week, and it's kind of great. Like, I will wake up and see that someone says something so crazy that makes me want to pull my hair out. It's been pretty cool. I'm not saying everything's all better now. It's not. But, like, things aren't being said that make you just be like, what the hell is happening? What is going on? There's a horse, like the John Mulaney bit. There's a horse in the hospital. Like, that's what it felt like. But it's a little bit better now. I mean, just that. Not saying it's all going to be better, but I like that's not a thing now. Like, what the hell did Biden tweet? No, that's not going to be a thing. So that's great.
Yeah, I listen to more. I get a lot of my like liberal stuff from Facebook and kind of decipher from there. And then like I listen to a lot of conservative talk radio just because it's like I like to hear the other side. And it's kind of fun to hear like what's going on because it's weird how politics shifts each cycle where it's like people see now the Democrats as being repressive and like liberal people are happy. It's fun to watch. It's a great, I don't know, a great social experiment.
I mean, when something's happening, like for example, the riots, the Capitol, I would switch, like go through CNN and Fox, see what they're both saying. And the thing is, when they're doing news like that, they're both pretty much the same. Yeah. And it's funny that I saw people on Facebook, conservative friends I have, saying they were all watching CNN and CNN saying all this stuff and it's made up. I'm like, and it's funny because they're watching the enemy, right? Instead of watching their network, which is what I was doing too. I was watching Fox some too. But it's funny because Fox was saying the exact same thing. Yeah. Like when a lot of times when there's things going on, school shootings or whatever, that is breaking news, they're pretty much covered the same way by all networks. And then you get to their opinion shows, the Tucker Carlsons and the Lou Dobbses, who's now canceled. But yeah, that's about as much as politics I'll talk about. I'm not really saying anything real political, except I give them credit.
It's just interesting when they say they do
the news. When they say they do the news, they often do the news. That's what I'm saying. I'm actually giving them credit.
It's definitely one of those things where
no one says Tucker Carlson is actually news.
No, he's an opinion show. It's an opinion show. And it's up to people to decipher this kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, I always consider myself a centrist. I see both sides of the argument.
I'm also quickly, and it's definitely not saying that their news has never been biased. CNN. I'm not saying that's never happened. Of course it's happened, but I'm saying for the most part, when I'm watching stuff, which is when something's happening right now. Yeah. And that's the one thing that I like is sometimes they have to put on their journalism hats and continue to like actually tell us what's going on. I mean,
You need commentators. I mean, you can't yell from the rooftops Biden's bad or Trump's bad all day. You got to like cover what's going on.
I mean, and it took them a couple days after the election to start saying there was a coup. Even Fox News, it took a minute. They've been saying at the beginning, their anchors were saying there's no evidence of that. Like, it's seeing what the more people voted for Joe Biden, this is what's happening. It took them a couple days for them to start change their tune, which that's unfortunate, right? Because you see the way they cover it. I'm like, okay, they're covering it like a news channel, and then but they made them run that that story recently about how that's all been debunked because there's lawsuits. So they made them run a piece.
Yeah.
So,
and then my favorite part so far though has been the My Pillow guy. He's been my favorite drunk uncle at Christmas.
Not the fucking My Pillow guy.
I make these in my home state of Minnesota, and I will guarantee you that I made this with a burlap sack and packing peanuts. That's how I did it and made it feel good when you're coming down off of 5 days from smoking crack and you realize the good Lord let you live.
For the best suffocation pillow in the world, go to mypillow.com.
You'll never hear it coming.
For the best waterboarding you ever had, go to mypillowcase.com. There you go.
My Pillow makes you get rid of or get your inheritance early. My Pillow.
And that guy was just, dude, before I even knew anything about his politics and the shit he says, that guy was creepy to begin with, man.
Oh, I know.
He looked like a guy that's like the shady girls volleyball coach that the school's been trying to get rid of for years, but they can't because he wins so damn much. Like that guy. Like our buddy's winning. We have a lot of state championships. We'll just slip this under the rug. Like that guy. He looks like that guy.
And he's getting interviewed, and when he says these girls are amazingly hot right now, he's not talking about their season.
Right.
They're really developing into women, and I can't wait till they turn 18.
They've absolutely toned their game up and stuff like that.
They're definitely getting legs up, and also I have them legs
they poured
up.
Sweat and blood and tears and sweat on my court.
Mostly tears, and those are in the shower.
Yeah, that guy, man. That reminds me. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know anything about it. I was going to talk about a coaching thing that happened around here, but I don't know anything about it, so I can't talk about it. Never mind. Moving on.
Yeah, there's been. I've known some people recently who've gotten in trouble by like proxy. Like hearing of these people, like he was like a Catholic school teacher, and he got in trouble. So that's fun. It's been a lot of scumbaggery this year.
Actually, what I was thinking of is something that I haven't heard any scandal about it, but what went down was just very strange that I'm wondering if there isn't something else going on, and I haven't heard anything. So,
yeah, I will not allow you to say it because
just quickly. It's just it was just a coach that left the program he was at for a long time, and then went to a smaller school.
Yeah. That's sort of what the Catholic guy did.
It was weird. And I'm like, what else happened? Something else must have happened, but I don't know. Maybe nothing happened. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe he should have been at practice more.
I don't know. Something weird. Yeah. Maybe nothing, but I don't know. It was weird series of events. Doesn't matter. I don't know. What else we got?
Oh, let's talk about this. This came across the wire today.
The Wire.
The Wire, the MMA Wire. Bellator has announced their light heavyweight world Grand Prix, and it's going to be on Showtime. They're back on Showtime again, which is great.
Oh, they are. I didn't even notice that.
I didn't even know that's great because that's where Bellator sort of caught my eye. That's where guys like Daniel Cormier got his big break in mixed martial arts, winning the heavyweight Grand Prix after just mowing through the competition. I remember that one very fondly. Loved it. And I like the standings. A few of these guys I'm not really familiar with. Obviously, we got Ryan Bader, current light heavyweight or former light heavyweight champion. He's going to be taking on Lyoto Machida on April 9th. I'm going to bring this up just to show Bellator 256 Friday, April 9th. They're going to have a rematch for the ages, bitches. Corey Anderson versus, I'm just going to call him Y because it's a long Russian name, and it ends in Ov. So Yov, I'll call him that. And then I hold on. Let me take off the thing. We got Nemkov versus Davis, which would be a great one. I'm a big fan of Phil Davis.
Yeah, have they fought before?
I believe they have. I'm not
looking
sure.
at that right now. Give me a second. Nemkov is the current champion.
Okay. That's where I've heard him from.
Yeah, he has a split decision against Phil Davis in 2018. Yeah, he has beaten Phil Davis once before. That's a rematch of their fight, and yeah, dude, this guy's a beast. This guy's TKO'd Ryan Bader back in August. Man, he's a champion. So yeah, he's the 1 seed here, man. He's fighting a guy he's already fought in Phil Davis. Should be fun.
And I mean, though, the bombshell of this whole tournament, both in strength and power, from both men, is a dream match. Rumble Johnson versus Yoel Romero. Coker played this one kind of close to the vest, saying he wasn't really interested in guys like Yoel Romero, Anderson Silva, and to bring Yoel into it, and at 205 is going to be definite to me a little wrinkle in this. I got Rumble. I think is going to be at a huge disadvantage for this match in the wrestling department. We saw what happened to him at 205 twice against an Olympic caliber wrestler in DC Cormier. And I was in attendance for one of those. I don't think this is a good matchup for Anthony Rumble Johnson. I actually, believe it or not, have Yoel Romero going to the finals of this. And looking at this, I'm going to say it's either going to be, I'll get Nemkov has a shot at this. I think Phil Davis and him will have a banger of a fight on the 16th.
He's beat a lot of these people already. Well, I mean, he's beat Bader and Davis, which is a couple months.
Yeah. But I see Yoel Romero out of all of this going there just because of the Olympic style background that he has in wrestling. Definitely a step down in competition. I mean, in Bellator for an Olympic, because honestly, a guy like Yoel Romero can clean up in this and go to the thing, but I see him losing in the finals, but I definitely see him being in the finals of this tournament. I really do.
Number one, this is why. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you a couple of reasons why you're full of shit. Number one, when was the last time Romero looked good? Like really, really good.
I mean, it depends when you go against. He's gone against mostly strikers who have been able to keep the distance and have had really good wrestling defense.
Yeah, correct. But at the same time, you're like, oh man, if he uses his wrestling, okay. Here's a couple guys who are strikers and not wrestlers. Robert Whitaker beat Romero. Paul Acosta beat Romero. Izzy beat Romero. All those guys are not wrestlers, just like he beat Rumble.
Because it's a striker versus wrestler, and the striker should win that competition if they're that good. And they were that good.
You're saying that Rumble Johnson, a guy who's knocked out everybody, and he's not Daniel Cormier, man. Like, I know Romero is a good Olympic wrestler, but as far as MMA wrestling, I don't think I've ever seen it from Romero the way Cormier does it. Only Cormier has overdone it the way Cormier does it. And
I know.
Khabib and a couple, but not him. So, and Rumble's been a while since Rumble fought too, man. But I know, dude, I think it's
Rumble gets
right now. If you're asking me to pick
right
this second, I'm picking Anthony Johnson.
I'm going to pick Yoel Romero in that fight on April 16th, just because.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to watch some. What days of the week are these on?
Friday.
Fridays on Showtime. Fridays. All right, I'll watch those. I have Showtime, so I'm paying for them. I will watch all those fights. The only guy I'm not really familiar with is the guy Anderson's fighting. I don't even know how to spell his name to look it up.
Yeah, it's definitely a name.
Keep it up there. I'm trying to look for him.
Yes.
Yeah. Spell it for me. I can't even read it. S-I. Oh, here it is. Got him. I got it.
Did you?
Yep. I can't say his name. Does he have a cool nickname? Please have a good nickname. No nickname. You can't have no nickname with a name like that. He's from Turkmenistan. He is 18-5. He hasn't lost since 2015.
Okay.
He hasn't. Okay, he's coming out of a different organization. He's coming out of ACA, which is
Okay.
I don't know what that his last fight was in. We'll find out.
Hmm.
Was in Russia, and then before that was one in Poland. So this is a European organization. Call it the dark European organization because, like, that seems like the places where the sun doesn't shine, like Poland and Russia, right?
It is very true. That's why like Polish people usually end up in Northeast Ohio.
There you go. That makes sense.
The weather makes it
And I
them
don't
real.
really know these guys. He's been beating up a bunch of people. He had like recent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 finishes in a row before his last fight, which was a decision. So this is obviously a guy they had their eye on for a minute here. I don't know anything about him. Maybe some of his fights are online. I'll look at those up later when that fight comes. What's the first fight?
It will be April the 9th, and that is Anderson and Bader and Machida.
Oh, there's two. Okay, there's two. Okay, I got it.
There's two. There's within a week of each other, and then we'll have the semis, which they'll probably announce that the day of both fights on the 9th and the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm pumped for this, man. I like Grand Prix. They're
right. I mean,
different format.
That's them trying to show, hey, we have a pretty darn strong light heavyweight division, which they do, man. They do. They have guys in that division who could do very well in the I mean, Corey Anderson was top 5 in the UFC before he went to Bellator. So I mean, and he's not even their champion. So I mean, I know they had Bader a long time ago, but it was a while ago. But I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to do when you have this kind of a division to do this. And I mean, the last time I think they're kind of doing it with their lightweight division, or is it featherweight? Doing it with the featherweight division right now.
Yeah.
But I remember when Strikeforce did it. Yeah, I remember when Strikeforce did it with the heavyweights. I mean, the guy who won that ended up being an alternate. So you hope that it'd be great if this, the guys are healthy and they could go through the way they planned it. But that's always difficult. I'm talking about 3 fights in a year against monsters.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fun to watch how they present this. The fact that they're back on Showtime is awesome. The fact that Showtime's getting after drop, I think Showtime and HBO both dropped their boxing licenses.
No, I don't think Showtime did. I know HBO did.
I thought Showtime ended their boxing thing as well.
Well, I heard that maybe they just did it temporarily because I'm hearing that Canelo's going to sign with Showtime, possibly.
Good, because I know HBO completely got out of the game, which I hate. I think they had the best presentation when it came to boxing. Showtime was Showtime, but HBO for some reason that was where you wanted to be, was HBO, because there was a big paydays until maybe Mayweather,
right, and Jim Lampley and those guys. Yeah, there was a lot of fun.
Mayweather telling wasn't Jim Lampley, who was the old guy that he told he was that wanted to kick Floyd Mayweather's ass on HBO. I can't remember.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's the same guy that did that crazy interview with Tyson.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. That guy has some crazy interviews where he just stared in the face of monsters and they're saying crazy shit to him. And he's like, okay, cool. Next, back to you guys, and not blinking. And this guy's tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That guy must have just had balls of steel to just have some fun.
I'm sorry, I can't remember your name.
Yes.
We'll do a tribute to you on another episode. We'll get a compilation of all your crazy interviews.
Absolutely. But we want to talk some fights. Let's talk some fights, sir.
What?
This
what
whole
are we going to talk about? Okay, we can do that. I'm sure that sounds so good.
We're going to talk about some UFC, sir.
A little bit of fights here. A little bit. All right. Hold on.
Tim, show note for everybody.
Don't admit it. Don't admit it. I just watched one.
I think I watched like the ending of the last one before came on, because we were interviewing Dr. Jerry Graham Jr. Go watch that. It's on Facebook and YouTube and I believe Twitch.
I saw the 2 finishes.
I did not see the finishes. I did not watch any of it. Sam, I was editing. I actually had an episode edited, which was nice. Didn't post it because I'm sad like that, I guess.
You know what, man? We complain about like how can we make this podcast better? We need to figure out a way to do this podcast better. But there's a couple really obvious ones that are really right in front of us, and we're whiffing on it.
Yeah,
and that's one. That's one.
Game 7 of the World Series style.
Catch up with our content is definitely one, and also making sure we watch all the damn fights is another one too. We usually do.
Yeah.
I did miss the ones I didn't watch were decisions. All right, I saw O'Day Osborne, this Jamaican kid, knock out Jerome Rivera in the first round, 30 seconds in, 26 seconds in, big left, boom, done, son, slick. It was awesome. This guy has a lot of pop. Featherweight. This is a new featherweight. I don't know which class he's coming from. Maybe bantamweight, but he knocked out Rivera pretty quickly and looked pretty awesome doing it. It's scary.
I need to watch it then. So, because it was one of many though on this card, dude. Like this card was one of those cards where you're like, thank God this happened and it went the way I want. Like everybody wanted it to, dude. Like this was a great card all around. I liked it. It was fun. There were really intense fights. What was your thought on the main card?
It was good, but I have a prelim card fight to talk about first.
Okay.
Ohio dude, man. We can't forget about this guy. Devontae Smith coming back.
Yeah.
Right? First time he's back since that upset loss to Kama Worthy. He bought a guy, Justin Jays, who's tough. We've talked about Justin Jays on here before a couple times because he's had fights since we started doing this show. But Devontae it was a last minute fight for James. I forget who pulled out, but it was a catch weight because of it. But Devontae Smith dominated him. I think he got a stoppage with like elbows on the ground in the second round. Devontae Smith looked good. Devontae Smith is a monster, dude. I mean, that's why he was such a big favorite going into that Kama Worthy fight, because Kama was also a guy who wasn't supposed to fight him. He was a late replacement. That's why Kama got that win. It's one of the biggest upsets in the UFC history as far as lines go. But before then, Devontae was starching everybody. First round win. Devontae Smith is now 11-2. He has 2 losses. One was the Kama Worthy, and the other one, Ray. You got it. You got this.
Andrew Law.
No. Close though, kind of close. John Gunther.
Ah, yes.
I sent you that fight. It's a great fight. They fought in Mansfield when they were both 4-0. Devontae, it's on YouTube. Watch the Devontae Smith John Gunther fight in Mansfield. It was great because Devontae looked like he had John done, but John Gunther is another animal, and he came back and ended up finishing him in the 3rd round. Awesome
I need to watch that then, because I feel like I'm doing a disservice to our listeners if I just, suck at my job, which I do.
You know what? And I sent you that video before we had John on.
I know.
Yeah, see? You send me like ICP music videos and stuff I'm not going to watch. I send you stuff that matters for our podcast. Raymond.
Hi and Drunk Ray. I'll send you all kinds of the insanes of clown posses. That's what I'll do.
And that's fine. I saw a great meme that said, I see Penny. Yeah, I see Penny. It was JC Penny. It was the Juggalo guys, the ICP guys, and like, JC Penny, like button down shirts and jeans. And it said, I see Penny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'll find it for you.
Yes, please do. I'll make it my background. That sounds like a fun background. Let's talk about the main card for.
It was good.
This was great, sir.
It was a lot of fun.
Oh, 2021 is already, I mean, it's a bad year so far, socially, but I'm going to say something. 2021 shaping up to be a very fun year for fighting.
Sure.
In mixed martial arts and combat sports, dude.
Just look what Bellator's doing. Even Bellator's stepping their game up.
Yeah. And boxing's big again. We've got American champions and English champions. There's no more Russian champions.
Sorry, man. Go finish what you're saying.
But there's a renewed. It's always funny to me whenever stuff's kind of going down the drain, like socioeconomically. Fighting is the thing that everybody watches because they have people to distract them and have great personalities, and that's why I love.
Yeah, sports,
dude.
Sports in general, right? But it's just. Not everyone likes fighting, but a lot of people do because it's one of those things that's kind of in you. That's why you like to watch fight. I think if we found another planet that was kind of like ours, would say another solar system, they had the same gravity and kind of the same evolution-ish, right? Everything would be different. Languages, culture would all be different, right? A restart, all different. 2 things I know they have. They'd be fucking and they'd be fighting. I guarantee it. There'd be some sort of fighting sport. They'd probably have different sports, maybe different rules. There'd absolutely be combat sports. There'd absolutely be, obviously they'd be procreating. So the point is, us humans like the fighting.
Yes. And that's the one thing, like, it just makes me happy, man, because there's a renewed interest it's fun. It's always fun to have that kind of shit, dude. Like, especially when you have, the world that we do right now. Combat sports should be a distraction more than football, in my opinion, because at
But
least you can go around the
no,
singular hero.
but here's the
I like
thing, man. It doesn't matter what your sport is, man.
that.
Your sport is your sport. I mean, if your favorite sport to watch is chess, it's good to have chess around to have a distraction from all these things, right?
This is true.
So it doesn't really matter what it is, but we like fights. We like a lot of things, but we definitely like fights. That's what we talk about it on this here podcast.
That's correct.
You know what, man? I was just thinking about this, which would be I may have mentioned this. If the only MMA fighter boxing match versus boxer, an actual boxer matchup that I think would be really, really great would be Deontay Wilder and Francis Ngannou.
No, I think honestly, you throw Tyson Fury in there too. Tyson
Fury was crushed both those guys. I think that's an actual fight because Deontay Wilder is a pretty good boxer, technically not great. The thing is his knockout power. Francis Ngannou also his knockout power.
Yeah,
Tyson Fury just beats both those guys up easy, no problem. I mean, he's done it once. Ngannou would crush Ngannou, but Wilder and Ngannou, those guys just have super heavy punching power, and they both have enough power to knock each other out. So that's why I think that would be interesting because I don't really think Ngannou's technically that. I mean, excuse me, Wilder is that much better technical boxer than Ngannou. He's not really a great technical boxer. They've been boxing for about the same amount of time, really.
Yeah, I want to say it was like 8 years for Wilder going, especially after the Olympics. And then Francis Ngannou, which I listened to part of the podcast for Joe Rogan.
It's pretty great.
It is. I like
I've only gone, I mean, number one, it's heavy. It's a very heavy podcast because he's talking about, I got into the
Sandmines part. Yeah.
Yeah. He's talking about how he's getting to France and what it took for him to smuggle himself to Paris.
Yeah.
And it's rough, man. And it's one of those things you just wake up. It's one of those things that make you look around and be like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Right. Good man, that guy, man. I mean, I always liked him anyway. And number one, he's a super freak athlete, and he's with every fight, he's becoming a better overall fighter. I mean, he got a championship fight with Stipe without being very well rounded at all, and not even having that many rounds. I mean, you talked about before with guys gassing out. I mean, he didn't even have a 3-round fight, and he had to go 5 rounds with Stipe.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a different fight this next time around, man. I'm pulling for Stipe hard. But you watch that with Ngannou and hear about his life, and you're like, it's kind of hard to root against this guy unless you're a Stipe homer like we are.
Yeah, and
Stipe will probably, I think right now he is an underdog. I think he will probably be an underdog the entire time.
Probably, and I would love to see Stipe go kind of back to his wrestling thing. Be careful of knees because I think Francis could throw those. And nobody wants that, especially with a guy now who's been fighting for 7-8 years. It's kind of wild to see a guy like that because you rarely see those dudes. You rarely see those animals.
Freak, yeah.
Where those are the guys where I mean, even look at. Oh man, I think we've talked about him before. There's going to be a movie made about him.
Jim Jackson or Johnson?
Yeah, the Jack Johnson.
Jack Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, the Jack Johnsons of the world that were just like shit talking while they're beating up small white men.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves like Francis Ngannou. If there's not a movie made about him that's like distributed worldwide, you're missing out on
somebody didn't already buy his movie rights, or maybe a screenwriter got on him and try to write his story as a movie. If they haven't already done it, after they hear Joe Rogan podcast, they will. Because I'm looking like this is like this could absolutely be the greatest fight movie ever made.
Yeah, man.
He's talking about his life, and I want like 90% of it to be him until we get. The last of it, maybe him if he ever wins a title. That's at the end, but most of it is like him just getting there.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like the smuggling story it made me feel feels. Sure. And I'm very excited. Hopefully one day there is something about Francis Ngannou because I think he's definitely an inspiration for a lot of people. I will be a big Stipe homer. Just letting that go for UFC 260.
Same here, man. But I mean, it's not like I'm going to be angry. I'll be bummed, but I mean, I'll be happy for Francis, man. What else? Oh no, I mean. Yeah, he's one of those super naturally talented guys. I mean, he was so good so early. He wasn't even fighting that long in the sport, like 2 years, and he got into the UFC. Yeah. Like what they say, God only makes a few of these, right? So And Stipe, and those are two I was talking about: Francis Ngannou and Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
Both those guys, that they just have just I don't know. We're born with this just nasty hands and this ability to just crush people. But this is what I'm a little bit worried about with the Stipe fight. Oh, go ahead.
No. Because I'm going to piggyback off of what you're saying here. I like where you're going.
Worried about for Stipe is who's gotten better before the. I should say who's improved more since the last fight. Stipe is almost 40, getting there. He's gotten older. However, I mean, every time you have a fight camp, and especially we see this a lot in MMA, you learn more. There's so much to learn. That's why there are some guys who are older that have resurgences because they're learning more stuff, right? They become better martial artists even though they're getting older physically. So I mean, that's Stipe. However, man, Francis is just, I mean, but at the same time, he hasn't fought anybody who's really gonna. Has he fought guys with really good takedowns who fought him the way Stipe fought him the first time?
No.
It's going to be a lot harder for Stipe this time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hard the first time. It's going to be really hard this time.
Yeah, and I think honestly,
and I really hope his game plan is about the same. Take that guy down. Be a wrestler. Take him down.
Yeah, that's what I want to see out of Stipe is that wrestling base that he has. If he doesn't use that, you can basically give the title over to Francis because he gets frustrated on the ground and he can get up now. That's nice. But I think a guy like Stipe, if he really works on his takedowns, doesn't get, I call it the boxing mentality of I can knock guys out, which he didn't. That's the thing. Like the coaches at Strong Style were smart against Francis in that first fight, just because they realized, like, look, we're boxing and we can knock people out, but I mean, this guy's only been fighting for this long. You've taken guys down that were 300 pounds. You know, like you fought a fat man in a swarm of Canadian soldiers. You need to take this to the ground and make this thing happen that way. And I think that it should be the game plan. Get the second go round without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean that, and if he can't get takedowns, I mean, look what he did against DC on the fence. I mean, if he gets his back on the fence and is able to work with Francis's back on the cage, that's also, you got to score that way. I mean, if he finishes them, it's amazing. Stipe doesn't have a submission, does? I don't think he does. I want to see that. That's what I want at end. I want him to choke Francis out.
I was actually thinking about that too. While we were
or like a slick arm bar. No one saw coming. That'd be cool.
Knee bar.
His head coach, what's his name? Marinelli is a jiu-jitsu guy, right? I'm sure he has decent jiu-jitsu.
It would be funny if he got him in like a Frank Mir, Brock Lesnar heel hook, just out of nowhere, like just shocks the fucking world and gets.
That'd be awesome. It would be awesome. I just want him to win, but then I'm pretty excited for it anyway. And also, we talked about it before. Ortega and Volkanovski's on that card, so
yeah,
260's good. 259's good. 258's. I was just about to say. I just now saw 258 lost one of its best fights.
Which one?
Jimmy Rivera and Pedro Munoz.
Oh yeah, okay.
COVID. That card sucks now. As one, look, the main card. You are right. You just say that it has a prelim card. It's a good prelim card, decent prelim card for a pay-per-view. But I'm talking about the one you pay for. There's an amazing fight on it. But I just hope that the ladies on this card and the other whoever's else is on that main card now, just has good fights. I mean, number one,
Bilal Muhammad up there.
Let's see who's up there.
Bilal is really one of the guys. I think Jim Miller is on this card.
Yeah, he's on the prelim card. Bilal Muhammad and Diego Lima, but not that Diego Lima.
Yeah, they were the poor man's Bobby Green versus Jim Miller would be a great.
That's gonna be fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I don't know how many they had on right now. The last one on this card looks like Patolo and Marquez. I don't even know who these guys are. Gastelum Highness is a good fight. And then Barber and Grasso. That's a good flyweight fight, women's flyweight fight. But it's, I mean, these guys could fight. It could be fun. It would be great. It's just not as far as matchups that make you want to go out and buy this card right away. And I'm gonna buy it anyway. So
yeah, I was about to say, I hate to say this, but this is a fan card. This is a sleeper card. This is one of those where
very often
you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But casuals will be like, there's nobody I know here that I really care about, except for like Kamaru Usman, you know. and that sucks. But that's the fight game. You have to kind of have those cards up and down where nobody really gives a shit, and you make only 500,000 buys.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I wonder what the over under for buys on this card will be.
Oh,
Because I mean, these guys. Well, I mean, Usman talks. I would say these guys aren't really talkers. I mean, Usman does, but he does most of his stuff. I mean, he smothers guys, man. I love watching him fight. That's great. I mean, just for him, I'm gonna buy it. And Burns is tough too. But it should be a great fight. We'll talk about it later this week.
Yep. I'll be talking about it from the fun and sun of Las Vegas, baby. Yay!
You dick.
I know. We'll talk off there.
Yeah, I think I've been trying to get someone to go on a trip with me forever, but I just don't have anybody to go with. Like I said, I'm about to go by myself. I'm going to go to Disney by myself.
I mean, I once I start really getting paychecks from my job, I'm down to go wherever, sir.
Well, you say that, man.
I do.
You want to go to Disney?
I've never been.
Well, the thing is, if you're going to go on a solo trip, there's a lot of shit to do in Disney. So it's not like you're going to be like sitting around bored, like I'm sad, I'm not doing anything. You'll be doing stuff the whole time, right? So I think as far as if you're going to go on a trip by yourself, you want to go somewhere where you always have something to do.
Yeah, agreed. I do
want to go back to Disney someday. I went when I was like 14 or 15. I want to go back.
Never been. My mom and my brother went. I went to a Columbus Crew game while I was watching my mom's dog. And they were there for my brother's birthday. But no, yeah, I've never been to Disney. The one reason I would have gone to Disney in general has been shut down construction wise pretty much permanently, and I'm sad about it. They were putting in a Tron coaster from the movie Tron that was going to be a light cycle from the second film. And you can like ride, and it's like on a track and all that stuff. It's all indoor, and COVID kind of killed the plans on the Tron coaster. So I'm really sad about that.
What's the one that Rogan talks about on the show sometimes? I think it's Avatar, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's like you got a VR headset, and then like you're riding those dragons or whatever, but there's also like wind and stuff that flies through,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that sounds awesome. And I did a couple, like when I went, which was like I said, early 2000, like maybe 2003 or 4. There was stuff like that. I think there was like an Aladdin VR thing like that. But I mean, VR technology is a lot better than it was then. Oh, yeah. So I mean, the point is, there's stuff to do there, man.
Yeah,
yeah. You know what? There's clubs and bars and stuff. It's not like there isn't. There's stuff there. Like there's stuff for adults there.
Yeah, I mean, and I would want to go.
There are bars at Disney.
I would want to go to a few things outside of Disney once everything opens up again, like the Capitol Wrestling Center in WWE. They have their own like small arena in Florida.
We
by Orlando.
We did that when we rented a car one day. We stayed at the resort with my family, and but one day we rented a car and we went to Winter Haven, Florida, where at the time where the Indian spring training facility. I mean, we saw the Indians play a game there and got a bunch of autographs. I still have my ball. That Coco Chris, Omar Vizquel, Ellis Burks.
That's something I would love to do is go to Bradenton, Florida for where the Pirates play. I would love to go to Bradenton and like go see a spring training game there once in my life.
And I think they're shutting down spring training this year too again, which is a bummer, I think. But because I wanted to go to Goodyear.
Yeah.
Also, last year I was seriously considering before COVID hit, going to about the same place in Arizona, Phoenix area, a couple parks there. I forget exactly where it was. I looked it up before, but it was the Olympic qualifying. They had the Olympic qualifying for baseball because the U.S. hasn't qualified yet.
Oh,
and they had to win this tournament, so I wanted to go down there and watch the tournament.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Which is one of those things that's only fun for me. I don't know. I'm not the only one
to go to that.
Cool. Yeah, that'd
be fun to go to.
Yeah, it would be fun to go to. But yeah. I don't know if it's going to happen, but well, I mean, it's going to happen if they're still having the Olympics. I haven't heard. I don't know what they're going to do that.
They are. They're still having the Olympics. They're calling it the 2020 Olympics.
I know. Yeah, because you know what though? Apparently, it would cost a lot of money to change that logo.
Oh Jesus! And also, did you see the head of the Japanese Olympic Committee?
No.
He used to be apparently the prime minister of Japan. And I don't know if this is the guy that George Bush Sr. threw up on. I can't remember, but he made some very sexist comments towards like women and like it's the most Japanese like way of doing it, where it's like they're indecisive and don't know. He's like an 86-year-old man, and he's in charge of the planning committee for the Japanese Olympics.
Dude, everything about the IOC and the Olympics in general is super corrupt, just like FIFA is super corrupt. However, Ray, whenever that happens, man, now that we like at a good groove of this podcast, we've been doing it for a while. Well, like, what time the Olympics start, which I think is a little later. I think it's August.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for a year now. At that point, we need to cover the Olympics.
I'm down.
I don't know how much. I think what we need to do is we definitely need to have an episode where we pick every event.
Okay.
See how many we get right. Probably won't, like, we won't know anything about them. We'll just see. We'll look it up. We'll see who's been winning competitions and who the favorites are. And we'll just make blind picks and see how good we do.
Yeah, I like that. That's actually a good idea, bro. I'm down for that. I'll clean up probably on the 100 or the track and field stuff, because I did that for pretty all of high school almost, from I think ninth grade to my 12th grade year, missing 10th grade because I had a hernia and it really hurt. I had a pelvic hernia that they had to fix.
Actually, one of my favorite sporting events is happening right now, and I say it's one of my favorite, but I haven't watched any of it yet. It started Sunday. There should be some going on right now. That's the Australian Open. Australian Open tennis is one of my favorite tennis tournaments. I like it because it like runs at a weird time, and I'm up at weird times, so I can watch a great match at like 3 a.m. Right? So I'm gonna watch some of that. That's always fun. And also, I just like that. It's so gross here. So you see it there, and it's nighttime here, and it's cold. You can see it's daytime there, and it's just gorgeous.
I know.
Just kind of makes you feel better for a second, and then you realize that you're not there. And we can't even go there, not even if we wanted to. I would also like to go. Another event I'd like to go to someday is the Australian Open. More than the U.S. Open, I want to go to the Australian Open.
I want to go to Australia in general. Yeah,
that too. But they say the Australian Open is like the party open.
Really?
Yeah. It's like if you wanted to go to like hang out and party and be drunk the whole time, so on. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm into for sure. That's my thing. I'm a 16th Australian.
Are you?
Yes.
Good for you.
I think, my great grandmother, who lived to be 103, her husband was from Australia.
Ooh.
Grandpa Colbison. I never met him. He died long before I was born, but that's about as much as I know about my heritage. I don't really know much.
I know I'm like Polish and a few other things.
Yeah, I know there's some Polish, there's some Lithuanian, and there's one person. I mean, I'm I think I'm like 5th generation American or something. I don't even, like, the only person I know that was for sure that was born in another country was that grandfather. I don't know. Maybe I should figure that out. Maybe Drunk Tim will buy himself some 23andMe or Ancestry.com. I think I'd rather Ancestry.com is what I actually want, because I want to see where they're from, who they were.
Yeah, me too. I want to see my dad's side, because I never really knew my dad's side.
I don't know anything about my dad's side either.
So it's a Polish man. We don't know much about our parental or fraternal side. So that's
you're Polish. What else? None of your business. It's kibasi.
Have your pierogi. No, you can't have marinara sauce, but I want it.
All right. After we figure out our DNA, then we're going to start a sitcom. Punch Drunk Polacks.
I like it. We're two crazy Polacks living in a crazy world. There has to be
dog's name is pierogi. Yeah.
There has to be in the opening credits a scene of us riding on a double bike. I want that.
Yes. Oh, for sure. How about a triple bike, and the other person is just someone of a different ethnicity who we never mention again? Who's like, who's that Hispanic guy that had? Is he part of the show? Is he? No, he was just there.
Is that Freddie Prinze Jr.? What's going on?
Yeah.
I want to talk about these fights before.
What? Okay, let's do it.
Oh, okay. Then we can still talk about 90s sitcom references, or we can talk WandaVision. I don't know. Make heavy spoilers for everybody.
WandaVision's getting heavy, man.
I like it.
That's all I'll say.
Such a good show. But the opening part of the main card was pretty dope. As Danilo Marquez gets the submission second round with about 7 seconds left on the clock against Mike Rodriguez. And Danilo got in close on Marquez a few times really threw him into the really got just a hold on him and didn't let go, almost Habib like. There's one part where he was zip tied in there pretty tightly, and I kind of figured that Mike Rodriguez was going to go down in the second after just a dominant performance by Marquez. What do you think about this?
Dude, this is great. That was a great choke there at the end by Marquez, right? It was a rear naked choke.
Yep.
It's good, man. This is Mike Rodriguez. It's kind of a bummer he lost this fight, right? Because his last fight was that weird, really weird one against Dave Herman.
Yeah.
So that's a bummer that he has another loss here because he should be at least one of those fights. But I mean, it's hard to ask anybody to win a fight twice against anybody. And Mike Rodriguez had to win it twice against Dave Herman and couldn't do it. So he got the loss. But yeah, Marquez, he looked great, man. He got him down and smothered him and he got that choke in late. Looked good.
It was a good fight, man. It was a very good fight. This one was a back and forth one, had a lot of fire to it. Alexander Panada, I'm going to just say it like that because I forgot.
You skipped one.
Pantoja.
Skip one.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Go down.
Oh, did I? Yes, I did.
Yep.
Diego Ferreira versus Daniil Dariush. This was show bomb. I definitely derailed it. You can hear chugga 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 chugga.
It's all right. I love this fight. This fight was great.
Yes. It was a fun fight, man. Yeah. Both guys went back and forth. And what would give your full opinion, sir?
This is one of those these guys can both stand and bag. That's not exactly what happened in this fight for the most part. Ferreira caught Dariush, and after that, Dariush kind of changed his game plan up. But it's one of those that makes me a little bummed for people who maybe saw it that are. I mean, when I say casual fans, I don't say in a degrading way. I'm not giving them shit. I know some people do that. Oh man, casual fans, blah blah blah. And that's not us ever.
No,
at all. Not our thing at all. Not at all. But I only saying I'm just bummed because you might not have understood exactly what was happening. These are two black belts who are having some amazing exchanges and scrambles this whole fight.
Yeah,
the whole thing was just great transitions and scrambles. It was so good. And I'm just watching it just like, oh, these guys, they're so good at this. They're so good. Yeah, that was my reaction. It's just watching two masters of no-gi grappling with punches, which is MMA. And they were doing great. And yeah, Dariush definitely won the fight. And he said the same thing. And they both should have had bigger fights by now. I don't know what they've been doing. They've been like sandbagging Dariush. They've been giving him like, this guy has been crushing. He finally, I mean, this is a good fight for him, but he beats this guy. I'm like, now I just looked at the rankings today. They have him at like 9, I think now. And I'm looking at possible fights for Dariush. I think Dan Hooker's right above him. That would be a good fight. Dan Hooker coming off a loss. That'd be a good fight for him. Or Dos Anjos. Either of those fights would be good for Dariush. Anybody else, he should be pissed again because he deserves finding to get somebody above him because he's won 6 in a row now.
Yeah. It's I think Beneil needs I agree with you. He needs to go up in the rankings, needs to fight guys. His career was kind of he did hit a snag at one point, so like UFC's kind of giving him stuff that
it was a while ago though. I mean, he's won 6 cents.
I'm aware, but sometimes people and that's the thing. I think he'll go into more top 10 guys. He'll get probably at least the upper 4. Have a shot at. Dan Hooker would be a really good one because Dan Hooker did have that loss.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me because I'm saying Hooker is now at 8 and Beneil is at 9.
Yeah,
Paul Felder's right under him, which I wouldn't. If he gave him Paul Felder, I don't think that'd be bad either. But you know what? Ferreira Felder would make more sense. I think they have Ferreira at 11 now and Felder at 10. That'd be a good fight. I think Dariush. So I'm looking at. Number one, obviously, lightweight is a clusterfuck up there. And it's great. It's great because there's lots of almost great fights. But I'm looking at, it's like who's going to be put together for like contender type fights. And Tony Ferguson is still at number 5, so he's going to get a tough fight. Although, you know, Dariush Ferguson coming off 2 losses would be good too.
Yeah, I like think that would be a fun fight.
So I'm thinking either Hooker, Ferguson, or RDA for Beneil.
I think RDA would be a bit of a challenge for Dariush that would not work out in his favor. But I think
it'd be about the same, man. I mean, they both can work on the ground, but I think Dariush maybe actually be better in the ground. I think it'd be kind of what the same fight we just saw.
Has power that can put a guy out, and even though
so does Beneil, man.
Yeah, but we don't. RDA likes to do volume power. And I don't think Dariush can do volume power. Can he?
I don't know. He knocks people out.
It can't happen.
Right. I mean, he did grapple a lot more in this fight than his past fights, but he is and we didn't get a chance to talk about this because we went long last episode, but he does have a tendency to put his hands down and get caught.
Yeah.
And he just has kind of got lucky. He's a good chin. He hasn't got knocked out, but he's going to fight some dudes who have a lot of power, like RDA and Hooker. They both have a lot of power. If you let those guys get that punch on you, man, you might be in trouble. I mean, in this fight, Diego tagged him. Actually, I think was it a body shot? I think it was a body shot that got Benel. And after that, Benel was like, "Screw this! I'm gonna fight him on the ground." And he did, and it was good, man. Watching those guys on the ground is masterclass, man. It was great.
Oh yeah. The thing with Ferreira was like he kept trying to get arm bars. He was trying to really work on the ground and be offensive while he was getting beat up, and that's why I gained a little bit more respect for him on that fight, just because of the fact that he was not quitting and just took it to the bell. And yeah, Beneil Dariush is your winner. Let's go to the fight that I was talking about and skipped over the fight because I'm a terrible producer, everybody. Just the worst human being on the planet. This one was a good one. Back and forth. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, man. It was a technical stand-up game, kind of a little bit of the opposite of what we saw in the last fight, right? Pantoja, I think he did win this fight, but it was very close. I think somebody was this a split decision? I can't remember.
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't think it should have been, but somebody gave it to Kopp here. Manel Kopp, at first, I didn't know who he was. I mean, I hear he's getting the number 5 guy in the flyweight division, his first fight in the UFC. And I'm like, what's going on here? Is this like a late replacement? Well, the thing is, he was killing people in Ryzen, which is a really good promotion.
Yeah.
So they knew who this guy was. That's why they knew he was a monster. That's why they gave him a tough guy right away. So this is a guy that, I didn't check. Let me check now. He probably got ranking after a loss because he fought a number 5 guy and fought him very well. It was very good. I mean, this is 2 guys who are super technical. Cobb's more of a counter striker, and he didn't get as much offense off because of it, but it was a really good fight, man. This guy's good. I'm excited to see them both fight again. And Platoy is a guy who's trying to get himself a title shot, man. He's got to step closer with a good fight against that guy.
Yeah, and for a flyweight fight, you always want to see these guys do what they did, and leave it on the cage the way they did as well. I know Kopp thought he won the fight because he kind of was disappointed, but I think that was just because he he wanted that victory and was kind of disappointed in himself. We have 3 more fights. One of them
quickly. I just wanted to say, I was talking about the rankings, so I wanted to say Pantoja has stayed at 5 after that win.
Yeah.
And Kopp is in the top 15. I thought maybe they give him some love there, but I'm assuming his next fight will also be against somebody in the top 15. I mean, you look at these guys. Sumo Tereri, man, that's another tough dude. There's a lot of guys here. Brandon Royval, man. Brandon Royval just got attacked in his house. You see that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he got attacked. Someone came in and left without his shoes. I don't know. It was something weird. I didn't read it. It was weird. Luckily, he's all right. No.
I was about to say, he probably feels violated.
Who wouldn't, man? Who wouldn't feel violated with someone in your house?
Have
you had anyone in your house rob you? It sucks.
Not that I'm aware of.
It sucks. It makes you feel so terrible. Like, not just that they took things.
I've had stuff taken from my car.
You feel so violated, right?
Yeah.
Like somewhere where you are every day, you're supposed to feel safe in this place, and when you were gone, somebody came in and took all your shit. It feels awful.
Yeah, I've had my car robbed a few times. Don't really take much because my car's super dirty. So it's like they just take like the I have this FM, AM, FM, or FM transmitter it's like a Bluetooth for my phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's been taken a few times, along with like they took a charge. I'll never forget the charge cord for a Views Alto. Like that's all. That was like, I didn't realize people needed those, and crackheads and meth heads will do anything for $1 apparently. Like they're ingenuitive whatever. I can't say that word.
Ingenuity?
Ingenuitive people.
Ingenuitive. Okay.
Yeah. But like, yeah, it's a horrible feeling when you get robbed. It's some expletives did come out of my face when I got robbed the last time. I was super pissed.
I bet, man. But I remember, yeah, like I said, I remember the time our house got out. Dude, I'm thinking about it now. It just feels not just the things they took. Actually, they got my brother worse because we were both living with my mother at the time. And he got his gun stolen, and that sucks. But I got like my PS4 3 stolen. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean that sucked. But we had insurance, so we got a check, right? We ended up buying stuff back. But the guns were weird. It was a whole thing. I'm not going to say all the details, but it sucks. It sucks.
that feels like a horrifying feeling, man. I don't think I've ever had somebody break into my house. If it happened, yeah, probably I'd immediately move. I'd be like, I'm out. See you later.
And this was a weird circumstance too. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about it, but
okay.
Sorry to leave you hanging, everybody.
You know what we should talk about? This great
fights.
These Clay Guida and Michael Johnson. Clay Guida showing he's still got it, sir, and bouncing like he's running a marathon in the interview.
Vintage Clay Guida. Clay Guida being Clay Guida all the way in this one, man. That's vintage Clay Guida, man. Changing levels, taking you down, throwing the big haymakers too off fake takedowns and whatnot. This is what Clay Guida does when Clay Guida's at his best. And at 38, man, he looked good.
Yeah.
He's fighting Michael Johnson, who I kind of feel bad for. Honestly, I'm waiting for him to get cut, man. He's a lot of losses in a row now. I know they like him, and he's 34, but I don't know. Maybe they'll keep him around. I like him, but he's a one in a minute, man. He's, I'm not saying he's not fighting tough guys because he's fought a lot of tough guys, but I don't know. We'll see. But Clay Guida looked fantastic, man. And they just gave him a new contract, they said. So he's going to be around, man, at 39. He's going to keep fighting. Because, again, like we said before, it's not like anyone expects Clay Guida to win a title. But when Clay Guida's on the card, you want to watch Clay Guida fight.
Yeah. He's one of those Nate Diaz. Oh God, I can't. I had somebody in my head like a Chris Lieben, where they're tough, they're hard-nosed motherfuckers. They can get into the cage and put on a show for 15 minutes to 25 minutes, depending on their spot on the card. Win, lose, or draw, you're happy to see him. And Clay Guida showed up. Clay Guida showed up big time, and I was very happy with his performance. I was very impressed by his performance, to quote GSP. And it was I like seeing vintage Clay Guida in there bouncing around. He has that weird stance, man, where you don't know where he's going, how he's going to get there. But for some reason, he pulls up with a fucking case of PBR and says the party's here. I love him for it.
Yeah, there's only one Clay Guida, and that's why they gave him another contract, right? I mean, everybody loves him. I don't keep this guy keep fighting until he can't do it anymore, and I think he will, and he probably will be doing it in the UFC. I think they gave him a new 4-fight contract. I don't know if that was counted that fight, so maybe he's at least 3 more, which is great. Great. Yeah. I want to see him. I'm excited. And they said he did call for, he wants a young guy. He wants like an up and comer. He wants like a guy who's trying to prove himself. He basically said, make me a stepping stone. He didn't say it that way.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the fight he's calling for. He wants like, I want a young guy. I want a young guy who's trying to prove himself. And I want to see that too, because he's been fighting old dudes.
And I think honestly, he deserves to be a gatekeeper with his skill and how he is.
Especially if he wants to be.
Yeah. And I think to have that mentality, you don't see a lot of guys like that who will take their role, what they should be, which is the gatekeeper. I mean, Roy Nelson was a big gatekeeper. Fedor for a long time was a gatekeeper in certain organizations when he wasn't champion.
You say who he's championed a lot.
Well, but
it wasn't a bad example, but you could think of a lot better examples than Fedor.
I'm just trying to use names. Sakuraba,
I know,
gatekeeper.
Okay, sure, Sakuraba, but just UFC. Think of some more. Go, Ray. Go. There's more. There's more. Think. You got this, Ray. Come on, Ray. Guys who are really great but never actually fought for a title. I was about to say Tim Elliott, but he did fight for a title.
He did.
Man, it's harder than you think, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, Tim.
Yeah, it is. No. Hold on. Now we got to get one. Hold on. We got to get one now. Roy Nelson would be the first one I thought of, too. Glover did fight for a title, didn't he? What?
I was going to say Carlos Condit's always a good gatekeeper.
Yeah, but he fought for a title.
Yeah.
Dan Hardy. He did fight for a title too.
He did.
Gosh darn it. This is harder than we thought it was.
Aha.
I know.
Let me out. How dare you? Man. Everybody does that to me.
Mark Hunt. Oh, that's another one. Mark Hunt.
He's fought for world titles in other organizations.
No, but not in the UFC. Hold on. We're getting one more before we move on. We have to. I said so. All right, hold on. What about lightweights? Oh no, I was gonna say Kenny Florian, but he fought for a bunch of titles.
He
That's,
did. I saw him.
No, Donald Cerrone.
Yeah, Donald. But I thought he fought
He's the number one. No, he never did. Not in the UFC.
Oh, okay.
Donald Cerrone is actually the biggest one. We just kind of forgot about him.
Do you know?
What about Diaz?
You know what my favorite part of this?
Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz has never fought for the title. I don't think.
Okay, then those guys.
But by the way, I was watching the 2019 World Championships of BattleBots on Discovery Channel, and guess who was doing commentary?
Ken Flo. Yeah,
Florian. I was like, yeah.
My niece watches that. She's into that. She likes it, and I'm watching. I'm like, Kenny Florian. She's like, who? I'm like, nah, it's a fighter. I'm like, what? He's making his money. I don't give him crap for it because he's getting paid.
Oh,
but
no,
he was a good fight commentator, and he should be working for. Maybe he is. I don't know. He was a good commentator.
He was a very good commentator when they had him. He was one of those first class guys that the UFC gave contracts to after they were done fighting, and Kenny showed up to be probably in that era one of the best fighter commentators they had.
I also really like Brian Stan. I just heard. I think Rogan said something about what Brian Stan's doing now. It was his choice to not commentate anymore. So I always wonder what happened. I forget what he's doing. He's some company. I don't know. I always like Brian Stan because I don't know if you can notice, but he's from Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, which is where my family's from. And he has a heavy Scranton accent. I don't know if you noticed it. Like I noticed it because my family's from there. I have a little bit of one, but not like him. And just listening to him say things like mount, mount, and things like yeah. I mean, that's one of those ones you don't.
Pennsylvania Dutch shit going on.
Right.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
Right,
doing?
They say people say that the worst accents in America are in two Pennsylvania cities, and they're different. They're not the same. It's Pittsburgh and Scranton have the worst accents.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's got for my love of Pittsburgh, and again wearing
it's worse. It's worse.
Oh my God, it is. It can be grating on your fucking like synapses for a hot minute if a girl's annoying enough. If she's hot, if she's a hot Pittsburgh 10 and you're talking to her, you can get past that accent any day of the week and make it sound good. But like I've met some women in Pittsburgh on like dates and stuff because I've like done stuff where I've done, I'm going to do a weekend, watch the Pirates and then meet some broad and see what happens. And like it can be grating. It can be really fucking grating. The old Pittsburgh guys are my favorite. Old Pittsburgh dudes who like can tell you stories of working in the steel mill when they were like 7 years old, putting their hands in things back when, the good old days when kids could work instead of being in fucking school all the time. How dare they make a living?
Yeah, darn it. Uphill both ways. Yeah, sure.
But dude, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about something.
Is what I'm doing with my mic stand right now?
Yeah, you're filleting your mic stand kind
of. No. My mouth is closed, sir.
Okay, you're gently massaging it, getting it ready to prep it. I understand.
I mean, I was making music on it, you perv. Playing it like a harp. Anyway, what we got? Sandhagen?
Yeah, I was about to say, somebody call God and see if Frankie Edgar's soul can come back to Earth.
No, I agree. I think he's actually dead. I think we saw the zombie of Frankie Edgar walk out. I don't think we saw Frankie Edgar himself walk out. We saw the reanimated corpse of him somehow. They buried him in the pet cemetery so he can go get his hand not raised. So, Corey said, "Yeah, man, Corey." Listen, recently I called as my sleeper pick. This is my biggest sleeper pick when we did this game, when we decided to pick who we thought were going to be the champions of each division at the end of this year. And my biggest sleeper was Corey Sandhagen. However, the number one step was this, and this was big. And man, he looked awesome very quickly. That nasty knee, perfectly timed, awesome knee. And I think Frankie might have been dead. It was one of those knockouts that was so vicious that you kind of had to stop thinking about how great it was, of a knockout it was, and stop being like, oh man, I hope Frankie's okay before you could actually appreciate it. It was that nasty.
It was creepy. Like I was sitting here where I'm at right now in the office of my house, and I didn't realize it happened. Like it was. Have you ever? We've all experienced this as MMA fans, boxing fans, all this kind of stuff, where like there's a moment where during a knockout where for some reason your eyes go white and you don't understand what's going on. Like you see that flash that happens, that a guy getting knocked out, and then all of a sudden you just see Frankie fall forward like that. It was scary for when I saw Frankie just dead like that. I didn't know what to think, except for
Mm-hmm.
Corey Sandhagen is a fucking savage
Mm-hmm.
and deserves all the accolades that he's getting.
Mm-hmm.
Frankie Edgar is fighting for another day, definitely. And it was that was a very vicious knockout where I didn't even expect that to happen. And Corey Sandhagen to me needs to, at least if he doesn't, I mean, who's number one right now in the 130 or 135?
Well, it's Sterling. Let me double check and think. I'm pretty sure Sandhagen is number 2. I'm going to check.
Okay.
But so it's going to be Jan and Sterling here soon at 259. No, there's some baseball news that popped up. Baseball pissed me off today, but no, we'll talk about that another time. 7-inning double headers. That pisses me off. That's dumb. That's not baseball, you idiots. All right, whatever. Moving on. We're talking about bantamweights. Aljamain Sterling is 1. Corey Sandhagen is 2. Rob Font is 3. He jumped Cody Garbrandt somehow without winning or losing this week. Okay, no big deal. Whatever. That happens all the time. The rankings are weird. Anyway, Sandhagen's 2. Yeah, the winner of Jan and Sterling, unless we have a draw or Sterling wins a very, very close decision, I think they're going to go to Sandhagen. If they don't, that'd be ridiculous. Some people said that Dillashaw may get the automatic shot because he's TJ Dillashaw. Okay, listen, everyone. This is very important. After what this guy does, Sandhagen, after 2 knockouts of monsters, Frankie Edgar and Marlon Moraes, 2 knockouts with one with his foot, one with his knee. I'm assuming his next one will be with his dick. So after those knockouts, if you honestly, Ray, we're doing this together. If they honestly give TJ Dillashaw the shot over Sandhagen, like not injury or anything, just straight up say we're going to give it to TJ before Corey Sandhagen. We're going down to Vegas. We're going outside of the UFC headquarters with big construction, big signs made on a poster board that say "Stop the Steal."
Yeah,
right? And we're going to pick it.
Week. I'll do it this week
because it's ridiculous. It's the biggest rob. The biggest rob of a title shot we've ever heard of. If they don't give it to him, if they give it to Dillashaw, the thing is, I don't think they will because I think they know. They see what this guy does. Come on, don't. And TJ's coming off of a suspension for cheating.
Yeah.
So
there's
don't
backlash of fans for. I mean,
I think there will be.
Big TJ Dillashaw supporter. I like TJ Dillashaw. I actually trained at the gym that he trained at and got to meet his trainer, Dwayne Ludwig. Great guy.
Bam.
Story of how he yelled at me. But to me, like that broke my heart. Like that's one of those you can't come back from this. And a kid like Corey Sandhagen, who just demolished a former world champion the way he did, and he's a young guy. He's a young world champion. He could be a young world champion and be a pretty dominant fighter. He's laser focused right now, and I think that's something to be taken into consideration. And I hope Dana and Sean Shelby realize this instead of, oh, TJ, we're gonna bend over for you again. No, fuck you. It's not how we play the game, sir.
And most of these guys we're talking about top of the bantamweight division are I think most of them are under 30, and even Dillashaw's under 35. So like these guys are going to be there a minute, man. There's going to be a lot of back and forth with all these guys. I didn't even think about that for just now. These guys aren't going anywhere. We're going to have that stacked bantamweight division for a while here.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun 5 years. I see at least a 5-year run of the bantamweight.
Sure. And that's before we don't know what Cody's doing. Cody Garbrandt's doing. They're talking about him and Aldo, and I hope that happens. But then after that, what's he going to do? Is he going to go down and fight flyweight? The thing is now, if he wants the flyweight title fight, there's some guys who have been establishing themselves in the flyweight division. I feel like I could see them saying, if you want to fight for the flyweight title, go down to flyweight and fight somebody, not Aldo. However, who doesn't want to see Cody Garbrandt and Jose Aldo? That will make money. That will get eyes, either if it's on now it should be a main event on a fight night card.
Yeah,
I want to see it be a
think
5-round fight. But I could also see it being a co-main event and a big pay-per-view too. That would make sense. So
well, I hope either way the bantamweight division looks fucking amazing. So that's the nice part. But let us talk about our main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen.
we talk about what the most stacked divisions are in the UFC, but right now it's more. So many divisions are so stacked at the top, even heavyweight and middleweight. It's the question is more like which division isn't stacked. The men's division, they're all stacked.
Yeah, men's division. I think really like
still flyweight, but it's still just. I mean, it's still looking good, man. There's some monster flyweights.
115 has a lot of fucking savages in it. Women's 125, 135. A little bit. I don't think that, and 145 is pretty much just laying on life support.
Yeah, it's a bummer. But the thing, we talked about it before, and we'll talk about it again when that fight comes up. And I'll say it really quickly now. It's just the fact that they have the best fighter they have in the division is probably the one that's going to keep them there. I mean, I don't see them saying, if Amanda Nunes says, I don't want to try to make 135 anymore, I don't know if they say, no, you're going to have to if you want to fight for us. The best we have. Really? So I don't know. I feel like you're going to get ladies to go up, the fighter. This is going to happen before they make her go down. She's the champion, right? I don't know. I'm also, that's me trying to use boxing logic, right? But the UFC doesn't use boxing logic, which is kind of just logic sometimes. But yeah, the UFC does their thing.
But let's talk about this main event because Volkov,
we whiffed on this one.
Definitely made Alistair Overeem look like Apollo Creed, both in face and victory, just destroying Alistair Overeem.
Oh, because they call him Drago. I get it.
Yeah, see, movies.
I like movies.
Support the arts.
Movies. Yeah. You know what's really funny? Right before Volkov started to turn it on in the first round, I was thinking to myself, who is a smarter fighter than Alistair Overeem? And I'm still saying it. He just got beat. But I mean, just the way he covers up and just the way his distance and just the way he uses his energy. I mean, we've seen him come back a couple times in a row from fights because he just knows. He's just, I don't know. He fights. He's just so damn smart. He knows his body. He knows just everything there is to possibly know about this. I mean, he's had so many fights. He's been around for so long. It's just so crazy. You see someone with just that much knowledge and not just technique, but just how to fight in a UFC fight. He's so smart when he does it. He's won so many fights that way. This one, he looked good for a minute, but then Volkov started really teeing off on him. And good for Volkov, man. He looked great, especially at the end there. And that finish, I don't remember if it was the left or right hand, but I just basically just threw him down with a hand. And Overeem landed on his hands and knees, but they stopped the fight, which was a good stoppage. Because even though he landed on his hands and knees, he was posting up, he didn't look at Volkov as he was running towards him.
No.
Which means he was out.
Yeah.
Or at least not all there. And there was Herzog was the ref. He did a good job stopping it. Because, I mean, a lot of times if you just land on your hands and knees, they might not stop the fight. But the fact that he landed on his hands and knees and didn't look at the guy coming towards him, he wasn't with it. So he did a good job of stopping the fight. Volkov looked great, man. They just moved Volkov up to 5, I think, in the rankings.
Good. Yeah, I think he should be in a top 5 position right now, especially after that performance. He brutalized, and yeah, you're right. I was honestly, when I saw Alistair getting into that shell that he gets into when he's up against the cage, I was expecting him to kind of do what he usually does, which is weather the storm, and get out of there, save his energy for the next couple of rounds and see what he does. But Drago, man, like he just came out swinging for the fences. Didn't give a shit about taking a couple to give a couple. He was, without a doubt, probably, this is one of the more dominant performances I've seen out of Alexander Volkov, and it's to go up against a former K1 champion and just brutalize him the way he did, breaking his nose the way he did. Like his whole face was just hamburger afterwards, and I couldn't have been happier. Like, I just couldn't be happier.
Well, no, good for him. I like Overeem, but good for Volkov. Look great. But when you talked about Overeem kind of covering up the way he does against the cage, if it was anybody else, you're thinking, oh, he's hurt. He wouldn't be covering up if he was hurt. But that's where we talk about the fight intelligence of Alistair Overeem and experience. Like he's doing that because he's trying to rope-a-dope him.
Yeah.
And he's done that before. He did it to Walt Harris recently. Like that's what he does, man. It's his thing.
At least it's not running like he did against Stipe.
What happened? He got knocked out. So
yeah.
It doesn't really always work that well. But no, Volkov hit him, beat him, looked awesome. And yeah, we said the cluster at the top of the heavyweight division. There's a handful of fights that were going to happen. One is the championship fight between Stipe and Francis. And then also the one coming up with Lewis and then Blades. After that, there's going to be like 3 guys right at the top there. But then you throw John Jones in there. So, it's interesting. Things like guys like Volkov have a while. I mean, he's going to have a couple more fights probably. Has to if he wants to get a title.
Yeah. He's going to need at least 2 more, I think, to get a title shot to be in
with John Jones being in there. Yeah, probably because now you'd have to beat, let's say Stipe beats Francis, or it doesn't matter who beats who, but the loser of that fight is going to be right up there. And then you also have the winner of Blades and Lewis, and then you also have Volkov. So you have Volkov to fight maybe Blades or Lewis, even though he just lost to Blades. So if it's Lewis, maybe, but if it's Blades, who knows? And then the loser of the Stipe fight, and yeah, it's a cluster. But it's gonna be fun though. I mean, we'll see what's going on at the end of the year here.
Yeah, and I'm excited for it, man. This is gonna be a fun year. I'm already excited. And then we have UFC 258 coming up this Saturday from the Apex in Las Vegas, Nevada. And I will be a little bit away from that, right outside the suburbs. So I'll be in the suburbs. So I'll be happy watching that. I'm
excited to see this news story about like crazed UFC fan arrested trying to get into the bubble.
No, I did. Yeah, let's. I'm going to pull that up. We can definitely talk about that. UFC fan.
No. I was making a joke that you were going to be the guy doing that. Did you not understand what I was saying?
No, I thought there was no, I will not, sir. I want to go to a UFC event. I want to make sure I can be allowed to go whenever I want.
Sign up for that contest, man. I told you.
I did. I signed up as well. So if we win,
right. Listen. I vow that if I win, I'll take you. What about you?
I'm taking you if I win.
Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Like I've always been wanting to go to Vegas with, but my thought was like, if I didn't take Ray to that, Ray would cry.
I actually had a buddy go to Chicago the night Stipe lost to DC. He was in the audience for that fight.
That would have been fun.
And I was jealous that he was in Chicago for that fight because I wanted to be there for that one. But
go ahead, man.
I was going to say my next goal is because I've been to 2 UFCs already, one in my hometown, which I never thought would actually happen. And then traveled for another one. My next goal is a Vegas UFC event. I don't care if I'm in the nosebleeds of the T-Mobile Arena. I just want to be in the audience, see the cage below me, and know shit's gonna pop off. And it's probably, I would say, outside of maybe music festivals, like UFC events have just, it's like one of my favorite events to go to because there's just an energy in that place where you're like, yes, we're gonna watch some death tonight. I love it.
Yeah, I do feel like a poser of it because it's just because I haven't been to one yet.
Yeah, you mo.
It's the goal, man. It's the goal. I mean, listen, I would have went to some now if we could go, but can't. What I was gonna say about that contest, I think if they're only picking one person, I bet they pick a kid.
Probably.
That's fine. That's fine. It's just it's
a Maury Povich Progeria kid that wins.
As a sad adult sports fan, I'm pretty sure this will mean more to me right now than it would a kid. I mean, you can say what you want, but I'm like, the kid has a whole life of stuff going on, you know? That's a big deal for me. It's like catching a home run ball too. Like I got a big home run ball. I'm like, if a kid next to me is like wants it, I'm just gonna ignore him like I didn't see him. I wouldn't take it out of his hands. I'm not a monster. But I'd be like, oh, have it, and just ignore because I want that ball, kid. I don't know. I mean, it make you feel great for a while, but eventually your life's gonna get sad.
Yeah,
for angry adulthood, and you're gonna need something like this to make you feel better, right? So.
And Tim Danko deserves to be stroking that baseball going,
yes, precious.
The good times.
Precious, yeah. I've multiple times I thought about what I would do if I caught someone's historic home run or a rookie first home run ever. Like, would you give it back? I'm like, yes, I give it back. However, I want something in exchange.
Yeah, there would be attorneys involved.
I wouldn't go that bad. If it was a rookie, I wouldn't go that bad. I'd just be like, I want to meet him. I want to give it to him.
I'd get a lawyer immediately.
For a rookie? Not for a rookie.
No, for a historic home run ball.
Well, not a first home run. You're talking like 500. Okay, that's different. Dude, I mean, the guy who caught, it's the famous guy who catches all the balls. Caught A-Rod's 600 and like he kept it for a few months. And the Yankees gave him like a I don't know. He has a charity he wanted something for, and they gave him that or something. But number one, I want tickets if they can get me tickets. But if it's a rookie, I know they're not making a whole lot. They just came up. At the very least, I want to give him the ball myself. And I would like an autograph ball or a bat. Well, bats are expensive. They just came up.
Yeah.
I'd take a ball and I'd ask for tickets. I would like tickets and a ball. And I want to meet him. That's what I want. That's very reasonable. Very reasonable.
That's reasonable.
Super reasonable.
Do you know who has like one of the biggest collections? This is a nerd thing, but it sort of deals with sports because they've done stuff with different sports for like action figures and stuff. Do you know who has like one of the largest baseball collections in the world and owns like Mark McGwire's 72nd home run ball and all that shit?
Yeah. Give me a second. I got to remember how to say his name. KO, right? Keith Overman.
No.
Oh, okay.
Todd McFarlane.
Oh, the artist.
Yeah, Todd McFarlane.
Spawn, right?
What?
Is that Spawn?
Yeah. He it was in the what was it? Oh, it was in the Long Gone Summer ESPN documentary. He actually has
you know what? Yeah, I remember. I did see that. Yeah. I forgot. I know Keith Olbermann. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, Keith. What about the douchebag Keith Olbermann?
You don't like Keith Olbermann?
No,
I like Keith Olbermann.
He got a little wacky during the Trump administration for me. I just meh.
Did he? He doesn't even come to politics anymore.
He did. Like there was a time where he was sitting in a
I would pay attention when in sports now.
Okay, yeah, but he did a lot of stuff for like where he was saying like we have won and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, and this was during like the first impeachment. He got kind of weird.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't.
Yeah,
he went back to sports and all right. Anyway, his thing, I forget what he owns, but he owns Bill Buckner's glove when he made that famous air in the World Series. Yeah, and he has something else. He has all these weird blunder things. He tried to buy J.R. Smith's jersey. I don't know if he did or not. I know he was bidding for it. I don't know if he ended up getting it or not. That J.R. Smith jersey, that game of the finals, the last finals the Cavs were in, where he forgot what the score was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to buy that jersey. Somebody bought it. I don't know if it was him or not, but he tried to buy it. But I forget what all else he has. No, I think he has the George Brett bat. I think that's it too. The Pine Tar bat. I think. Yeah, he's like weird things in sports history he bought. And at one point, his next door neighbor was Lady Gaga. I know weird things about Keith Olbermann. However, these are all things that he said on television, so it's not like I dig.
I like old Keith Olbermann, but like I don't know, meh. But it's where in like the politics thing, he kind of burned me out on him. So
I just liked it. There was like an old school newsman doing sports now.
Yeah. Well, Tim, we have talked about what we need to talk about, sir, and I think we should call it a night because I got to be up in the morning to be on my way to the Sin Cities and have some fun. So
yeah, buddy, have fun, man. That should be good.
Yeah, I'll be doing.
I may be Venmoing you money to make a bet for me.
Actually, I was gonna say that's gonna be something I
maybe.
will.
However, there's not really any ones I like on this card right now. We'll have to look. Maybe I'll do some research.
I'm actually gonna have you pick me some things and put like $5 down on some fighters and stuff.
Parlays, man. Those parlays are fun.
Yeah,
put like $5 on like the whole card.
Yeah.
You get them all right.
That would be awesome. And run the table.
What the payoff would be $5 on the whole card. A lot. I mean, a lot.
Probably. But I'm definitely gonna bet on this, and we'll talk about those bets. I'm gonna probably put them down on Thursday. After a show at Rick's Rollin' Smoke Barbecue. Go check that out. Follow Steve McAnally. He is the one putting on the show. If you're in the Vegas area and you're watching this tomorrow, because we are sexy and you want to watch us all the time. Make sure to come and say hi. Nobody will. I know they won't, because why? We're the greatest podcasters to ever exist, sir.
We are. And all our episodes are ready to go online. There's no lost episodes.
There's nothing that's completely missing. That's
the thing. Like, we don't have anything to complain about because we know what like some of the basic issues are. The things, those are fixable. Once we fix all those, then we can start figuring out what's really going on, right?
Exactly. But I look forward to doing the show from Vegas on Friday for the show, and we're gonna have some good times doing that. Thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure to follow us on all of the stuff. I'm starting to look into alternatives for our streaming platforms, because Anchor has been gay so far with giving us sponsors, which is lame. So I'm going to go looking for other ones, and we'll be looking for another streaming service as well. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you guys for watching the Bro Plata. We appreciate you guys so much. And thank you for making 2020 so good. Make 2021 the year of the bro. And we will see you guys Friday from the StreamYards. Have a good night, guys. And we'll see you at the Kumite, motherfuckers.
Ray, you need to put money on a prop bet that no one will try to break through the UFC bubble with a baseball bat, right? Pull that off. I mean, we can win